Representing the Wellington region are a crew of passionate and creative volunteers that work behind the scenes to transform the streets of the capital into a dancing, musical and cultural celebration. Please welcome to the stage Cuba Dupa.
Kia ora koutou, ko Brian Dawson, tōku ingoa. I'm a City Councillor in Whanganui Atara, and I bring greetings from our Mayor, Justin Lester. In the capital of culture, the beating heart is the Cuba Quarter. Sometimes weird, often wacky, but always wonderful. Cuba Street is a magnet for the creative, multi-talented, fabulous members of Wellington's artistic and cultural community. And Cuba Dupa takes that to a whole new level. I'm really proud as a local councillor to support this amazing venture, but the real work is done by a multitude of others, led in the past by the ever-talented Emma.
Thanks, Brian. Tēnā koutou katoa. I'm Emma Geeson, and I'm honoured to be here in such inspiring company to represent Wellington's Cuba Dupa Festival. I was the General Manager of the festival for 5 years, through 3 years of its development, and the first 2 years of the festival being delivered in 2015 and 2016. And the reason I'm here today and not the current festival team is that it's happening right now. And we're getting reports through, it was forecast to rain, but it's not, it's sunny, thank God. And there's huge crowds there, so it's all hands on deck in Wellington. So to start with some background about the festival, it came out of a strong demand from the Wellington public for a large-scale event which would be unique to the city and which would celebrate and showcase everything everybody loves about Wellington. We knew that the absolute key to creating something which would be financially sustainable in the long term was to provide a space for mass participation. It had to be driven by the community. We wanted to do something unique and innovative and something that would be defined by the local community's participation in it. So how to do that? Setting the tone with the name, Cuba Dupa. Playful, a little bit ridiculous, not taking itself too seriously. Creative, unique, a made-up word which has no meaning. Its meaning will be defined by the community. Everything's reversible in all the marketing, the logo on the posters. I can't show you that by flipping this, but actually in your booklets there's a little version of the logo. If you turn it upside down, you'll see it reads the same upside down. So that was about turning things on their head. The relationship between audience and performer, everyone's part of the show. The way we inhabit our city streets, a whole city precinct as a playground for the weekend. So what is Cuba Dupa? In a nutshell, we create a large pedestrianised area around Cuba Street for the weekend. It's a multi-arts festival, so theatre, dance, comedy, visual arts, music, and everything in between. It includes international acts and commissioned new work, all have a focus on audience participation. So it's about no barriers and providing people with an opportunity to experience things they wouldn't normally. So the first event finally in 2015, as you can see from these figures, was very ambitious, a big experiment, and we were overwhelmed with the response. One thing to add to these figures is the uptake from local businesses. We said to them from the beginning that we wouldn't bring in external stallholders. Cuba Street's the heart of Wellington's culinary and hospitality scene, and we wanted to showcase that and make it good for the local businesses. And they've really got behind it and embraced the festival. Everything from Logan Brown to Malaysian street food, Mexican, Cuba Street has it all. And the figure we're most proud of was 0 arrests, less than on a normal weekend. So a really safe family environment. To illustrate some of the key elements of the event, each year, starting with an opening, bringing together different choirs from around Wellington, performing a piece composed especially for the festival. This is some of the 200 strong members of Wellington Community Choir in the rain, nothing stopping them. And they started from one end of the site, and then the Whitireia performance students start at the other, and they all procession through with other cultural choirs coming from different directions and meet in the middle and perform a piece together, which the public's invited to join in with. The Swan Dance Hall, which is the heart of Cuba Dupa, is a nod to the history of dance halls in Cuba Street, And during the course of the day, different dance styles are presented. Again, the public invited to join in and learn dance moves. And it was a massive relief when they did. Parades, moving away from people behind barriers watching a parade to around 20 parades through the street through the course of the weekend, which seem random, but are actually highly choreographed, and all will meet up in different intersections and perform together and then take off. International Street Theatre, so that's a real point of difference. This is a group from Spain who make theatre out of transforming audience members with outrageous sculptural hairdos. And what that means is the crowd's full of these great hair sets, hopefully fueling the idea of it as a dress-up event. Local businesses on the street, local tertiary arts education institutions bringing their students along who work alongside the professionals with a performance or working on stage management, and local arts organisations getting their own funding to be part of the event. So organisations like Orchestra Wellington and Footnote Dance get funding, come together with other groups and work on a piece, especially for the festival. This was the Boys and Girls Institute who brought professional street artists to work with young people and created a mural live during the festival. So what's happening today? Bigger and better than ever. A great illustration of how the festival's developing. There's actually 4 new stages this year, all of which are paid for and run by the local community. So one's a local brewery, an arts centre, and a youth group, and the new Performing Arts University that's going to open in Cuba Street next week. Increasing numbers of out-of-town visitors. We just saw it on One News just before we came up here, so yes, we made One News. And some great media for Wellington. So now we're going to show you a little video.